in, hard-hitting, and in-your-face, islandproject.com. Get in now while U.S. stocks collapse, and I report on a record amount of gold purchasing by China ahead of what I believe will be their imminent attack in Taiwan. This video will be short and to the point. Don't have a lot of time today. I've got a lot of work that I'm working on along with my team. I do want to welcome aboard Scott H. Just came in with $250,000 into islandproject.com from Kansas. We've got a lot of members from Kansas. God bless you, sir. It is an honor to serve. I've had several others roll over their IRAs very recently. We had 30K come in this morning, another 41K separately from another individual. God bless you. It is so urgent that you get your money out of the banks now during World War III hyperinflation. And the big story today, which I'm going to share with you, I hope it's not too windy. Give me a thumbs up and say, General, it is not too windy. This is massive. So we have now witnessed China buy more gold than we have ever seen them purchase in the history of civilization. I want this to sink in for a minute. I'm posting all over my Twitter, now X account, at AMTV Media. I hope you follow there. By the way, Tesla stock was down today big, down 5%. Earlier, also New York Community Bank hit a new 52-week low, and the stock market was absolutely pummeled on its worst day since September 2022, the worst month, down, I believe, over 500 points. And the downside move has just begun. I'm expecting, again, stocks to break new lows. I'm expecting an 80 to 90% collapse in the U.S. stock market, which is why I keep telling you to get into real assets. We saw this today with another report from the Case-Shiller Index. Of course, all the real estate we own continues to skyrocket because that's the plan. The February numbers came out, breaking record highs once again, and even greater records in the high end, which is our market niche of islandproject.com. Again, our properties, our 10 to 12 that we own in Oahu and Maui, are very high-end beach and oceanfront homes. They're not middle-class, middle America homes. It's the new Malibu. It's the new Palm Beach. I'm expecting many of our properties to exceed well over $100 million individually in the very near future as the currency war develops, which we're talking about today. Now, it's very urgent. I must say that I'm very concerned about the currency trade relationship between the Japanese yen and the carry trade that I was explaining to you yesterday, which accounts for some $4.5 trillion in money that's been borrowed from yen, cheaper yen, and invested into the U.S. stock market. Eventually, Wall Street hedge funds have to sell, and by selling, they'll dump U.S. stocks even further, of which Jamie Dimon, Tim Cook of Apple Computers, Bill Gates, the list goes on, have been selling all of their stock. They have been completely liquidating, along with Jeff Bezos and others, all the technologists, all the big seven, every single last one of these people in power, and the CEOs have been making record sales. So again, it's not hyperbole when I warn you that the stock market will collapse. It's going to continue its collapse. Hyperinflation continues. It's not hyperbole. I'm not exaggerating. When I tell you China will attack imminently Taiwan, that's not an exaggeration. So let's talk about this today, April 30th, 2024, as we live through this historic time. And I just want you to keep in mind, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we're the good guys. We're the good guys. My dad, Papa John, everything we're doing here at islandproject.com, we're the winners. We're the good guys. We're pro-humanity. We're pro-freedom, pro-liberty. We are the Christian ballers. We're the good guys. In a world of a lot of evil people, of a lot of problems, a lot of hopelessness, and zero solutions that are offered, we are the good guys. And I just want you to keep that in mind. All of my beautiful members out there, Scott H., who just rolled in with $250K, just signed on his fund deployment from Kansas, and so many more of you. Linda, you know who you are. I spoke with you, Father, to continue serving you. Now, let's talk about how China's been buying record parabolic amounts of gold prior to the breakout of official World War III and their attack on Taiwan. By the way, follow me on Rumble as well. There's a larger archive of videos that are occasionally too hot for the tube, if you know what I mean. So you can find me at Rumble as well at AMTV Media. But why is China buying more gold? Look at that parabola right there. More gold than it ever has in its history. Why would China be buying this much gold? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it's learned its lesson from the sanctions that were implemented against Russia, its partner, its ally. Keep in mind, when Elon Musk is in China shaking hands with the Communist Party Chinese, he's actually, committing what many would call treason against the United States of America. China, Russia, Iran have all been buying gold, and that's because they're at war with the United States. But I guess Elon Musk doesn't care, and I'm not going to rant about that today. But my point is, in 2024, you can see a parabola, a standard deviation spike that you've never seen before with gold bullion, with physical gold. Why? Because we're in a currency war. And right before currency wars really take off and a pig's nations collapse, a debt collapse here in the United States, which will be worse in 2008-09 and the pigs events that we saw during that period, far worse than the collapse of Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, owned by Warren Buffett, the Oracle of bailouts, all those companies that went to zero. What you have coming will be far, far, far worse. In China, as it's preparing to devalue its currency and go to war with the United States, is buying precious metals. It's buying rare earth metals for things that go into semiconductors. It's going to take the trade by force in Taiwan to pick up the semiconductor trade. And it's going to do all of this, even according to our own intelligence here in the United States, before 2027. Now, I think it'll be much sooner. Of course, they want to take full advantage of the weakness of the Joe Biden administration. And at a time of, well, many people would argue at least ideological civil war in the states and total election chaos, there can be a better time while America is sinking with record debt, economic collapse, bailouts into infinity, and combating hyperinflation, which is what they designed, of course, intentionally. There's no better time than to invade now. So we've seen a rare earth metals being purchased. These go into battery cells, of course, of all the self-driving cars, all that type of technology, solar panels, all those things, microchips, processors, everything that's governing society today, Waymos, the things that really irritate me that I rant about all the time. So this is very, very significant. And look, facts are facts. Well, when you see this amount of gold being purchased by China, it tells you war's coming. It tells you that the premier, Xi Jinping, is getting ready to go to war with the United States. This is a pre-Pearl Harbor event that's happening now. This is what is going on. My phone's probably even overheating. Also, links below, islandproject.com. U.S. stocks down again today. Again, inflation has not stopped. You're living through hyperinflation. The whole goal is to eradicate home ownership from you. This is why you should buy this. The whole goal is to eradicate ownership of all real assets for the middle class so that those in power can take it over. We have BlackRock private equity groups are buying all the homes in America. Their goal is to take control of probably most homes, most single family homes, not just commercial, by 2025, well leading into 2030. You also must understand, as they structure all of this, as you see even further fractionalization and tokenization of asset classes, hyperinflation will continue even further than it ever has before. Also, the U.S. bond market, which is also showing signs of collapse, spiked today with the 2-year Treasury yield surpassing 5% after employment cost data came in, as I would have expected, hotter than what they say they've expected. Again, why is China buying oil? Why are they buying gold? Why are they buying rare earth metals? What are they getting ready for as fiat trash currencies move into a devaluation spiral and real Americans' middle-class wealth sinks? There's not many options out there, guys. I've created the best option in the world, islandproject.com, for all of you tuning in. It is your last opportunity to onboard like Scott H., who just got in with 250 grand earlier today, just countersigned as docs. Welcome aboard, sir, out of Kansas. Linda, who came in with 70 units, her beautiful family recently. I've had several more of you roll over IRA retirement accounts within the last few days. You have very little time left to exit, to preserve, protect your capital before stocks continue their precipitous collapse. In my opinion, again, I have to say it's not financial advice, but it's the guy that's gotten everything right. Read my terms and disclaimers. Told you to buy Bitcoin under 1,000. And by the way, this is a massive opportunity to make millions in the cryptocurrency market. I want to see more downside. I want to see more capitulation, which I think we're going to get. We saw Bitcoin crush under 60K, which is a big psychological level. You're going to want to start buying here. This is when you're going to make the big money, and many of you will become new millionaires, multi-deca millionaires, maybe even better than that, as we lead into the summer. Again, as I've said in recent days, I think that the markets are going to be volatile. They're going to be choppy. So you're going to want a dollar cost average into it. Then we'll be breaking new records well into the summer months, which I believe we'll see Bitcoin at 150, 250K. Again, the price you pay for getting rich in crypto, the price you pay for getting rich with Bitcoin is the volatility that most people can't handle. So just keep that in mind, zoom out, see where the trends are. The trends are your friend. BlackRock's buying all the Bitcoin for a reason, because they want your bags. Don't let them steal your bags. You want to own as much crypto and Bitcoin as possible. You want to buy as much of the #1 investment in the world, the diamond gold Rolex of real estate, of true 100% equity, no downside, principal protection, no bank debt homes, along with us, that are also being tokenized on a future multi-billion-dollar blockchain. Of course, that liquidity event is going to be massive. It's going to make many of my members multi-millionaires simply with a 30K investment. That's it. And I have investors all the way up to 1,000 units in the project now. We are very close to ending the funding round. This is a perfect pivot opportunity to onboard now, and especially get very aggressive, removing your money from the banks and the US stock market, which has just begun and started to collapse, which I've been warning about. It's just started, ladies and gentlemen. Again, NVIDIA has been up, its stock has been up, the AI stock, 5 months in a row. Okay, what goes up is going to come down at some point. The hyperinflation is now at records that we've never seen in history. The US stock market hasn't even had a correction since 2008 and 09. So I want you to keep in mind, when this panic button hits, and it will be a massive panic, it'll be the worst thing you've ever seen. Many stocks in your portfolio, if you're still holding, will crash 80, 90% in my humble opinion, which is why it's so important you put your money in a real asset so you have the peace of mind with no bank debt, right? We have appraised value. You own a diversified host of portfolios, not just one, and you earn all those cash flows annually, capital gains, all of the upside of the liquidity event with our tokenization, plus the economy, plus all the assets as we expand worldwide, plus some use. For example, if you have 500 units with the project, you're comped 14 days at any of our amazing properties around the world. You have 1,000 units, $1 million with islandproject.com. Not only do you own the best investment with all the gains, all the cash flows, the dividends, the economy, you're also comped 30 days a year anywhere in the world. So while other people are staying at hotels, don't own anything, have no investment, my ballers own a real investment. They own a piece of the rock that BlackRock doesn't want you to own, that these people in power don't want you to own, that private equity doesn't want you to own, and they stay at their own properties. Absolutely amazing. Ski in, ski out, Park City, Utah. Homes right on the water and the beach. Soon to be Arizona, and international exposure well into the summer. I've already planned our acquisitions leading into what I believe will be new all-time highs as we hit the summer months in cryptocurrency. So make sure you onboard now. It's very common sense. Again, it's very easy for people to understand. And I've said this before in recent months, you should be taking profits. What did the general tell you several months ago? I said, take at least 25% off the top. I told you it was a command from the general, and it's proven to be sound advice, time immemorial, as I continue to warn well ahead as people mock, oh, you know, Tesla stock's going to go up forever. No, I've shorted that stock, and I'm already up 40% on my short, and I was up another 5% earlier today because I shorted even more and dollar cost averaged on the downside yesterday. Because again, the Ponzi scheme of Tesla, the Ponzi scheme of the US stock market, the Ponzi scheme of the record amount of debt, the Ponzi scheme of these wars as Israel prepares to attack Rafah. They said they will attack Rafah with or without a ceasefire. is what they've said, with or without a ceasefire. So the humanitarian crisis has just begun. Ladies and gentlemen, the wars have just begun. And I want you to keep in mind that systematically as this plays out, as stocks collapse, risk assets are going to fall. So a lot of people aren't accounting for this, but risk assets will fall in tandem and be heavily correlated. What's not correlated is a non-bank debt asset, just like in 1929 during the Depression. You know whose property and assets were seized in 1929 as people threw themselves out of Wall Street building windows? You've read that history, right? My grandparents lived through it. My grandma, my grandpa lived through that. The only thing that wasn't seized was the farms and the assets with no bank debt. This is where the peace of mind is. This is where the luxury of the 1000x lies. Right here, 1000x to the moon. So again, I'm very concerned for those of you out there that have not made the move yet. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, I want you to make this move today, even if it's not with me. Even if you go find another place for your money, get it out of the banks, put it into a real asset with no bank debt. That's my advice. Yes, I've built the best investment in the world. I've already done all the heavy lifting and the hard work of designing the world-class asset that has just been invented. Yes, I've done all the hard labor of buying all these multi-million-dollar properties in recent years. Yes, I launched along with my team and my extraordinary father, Papa John, in July of 2022, on July 4th, declaring our independence for all members. Yes, I've done all the work, all the heavy lifting, well in advance. Yes, I've been telling you to take profits in crypto in recent months. I hope you listened. I hope you've been rolling over more funds, as many of our members have, into islandproject.com. And I'm telling you now, when the panic hits America, finally, as the piper is about to be paid for this record scam, this Ponzi scheme propped up by the central bank and all their quantitative easing shenanigans and 0% interest rates into infinity and PPP loans and bailouts and closures of people's businesses. This is all coming to roost, and it will directly hurt you and innocent Americans unless you act. Again, folks, I care about you. I want your success. I've designed the digital Noah's Ark, commanded by God for a reason, to protect you, and also because it's my goal to 1000x, not just your mindset, but your physical investments. And to get your money into a new bank, so to speak, islandproject.com with no bank debt, which you have sovereignty and control over during this economic collapse. It's very simple. It's a very simple design. You know, my tokenization event is a little more complex, but the beauty of that is it's completely turnkey. Just put your key in the ignition. All of you will receive founders round rate tokens once, of course, we go live. I'm doing all that for you so you don't have to be an expert. For many of you baby boomers out there that don't understand crypto or a wallet or, you know, what a seed phrase is, we're doing all that for you as a part of the tokenization. You'll see BlackRock do it later too, probably 5 or 10 years from now, but all my members will already be rich because we were the first mover way ahead. Just like the first mover in Bitcoin is rich today, just like when I bought Bitcoin under 1,000, it's made me more money than I ever could have imagined. Just like when I got into social media and e-commerce in 2008-09, when people mocked it, it's made me more money than I could have ever imagined. It's why I'm rich. And that's not a big deal, and I'm not saying that in a way to be bragging. I'm not bragging, I'm just proving a point. So I want you to understand that it really truly is your opportunity to take the risk on yourself, which there's really no risk at all. I mean, again, guys, when you put your money in a bank, that's a risk. The FDIC can't back your funds. That's the risk. Bank runs are the risk. New York Community Bank collapsing to zero is a risk. Cascading debt defaults are a risk. A no bank debt portfolio of the best property in the world has no risk. I mean, I have to say it has some risk, but the downside is minimal. There's no debt, guys. And I want you to keep this in mind with other real estate opportunities out there, people you may follow, they have lots of debt, loads and loads of debt. In fact, you know, Grant Cardone, who I really like, by the way, I think Grant Cardone's a great guy. And I think he's got some great winning investments, but he'll tell you straight up to your face, his companies almost went bankrupt in 2008 and 09. Why? Debt. We don't have any debt, none. And I set it up that way because biblically, I believe, along with my father, as we prayed on it, long before, as you know, I strategized for a little over probably about 5 years before I launched islandproject.com. I didn't feel it was biblically ethical to have any debt. So I'm just pointing out, though, too, your investments with debt, with leverage, are about to be eviscerated, in my opinion. It's going to be worse in 2008-09. I hate to say that, but I'm telling you the truth. All right, I've got a very busy day. Please like and share. Ask any comments, questions in the box below. Read our terms and disclaimers. I'm not a financial advisor. I have to say that. Also, call my dad. He is there to help you. 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. And you can simply fund immediately with a minimum of $30K. We accept crypto, ACH, wire transfer, and also credit and debit card at islandproject.com in the members tab. It's a 2 to 5 minute app, super simple. You don't have to be an accredited investor. You can, though, be accredited, but we built it for the average man. Make sure you get in. About to step into the Lambo. I've got a business meeting, a lunch, another property I'm looking at. And also follow me at AMTV Media. I just put out a new spec design of a potential property here to be built in this beautiful valley, as you see behind me. Again, no bank debt, 100% equity ownership of the best asset in the world. While the stock market collapses, while crypto has huge volatility, we don't. While the debt explodes, while hyperinflation reaches new record highs, while many people are losing sleep because they don't know if their 401ks are going to be there, all my members, investors, they sleep soundly, along with myself, because it's where I've put my money. Again, I solved my own problem after making tens of millions and a lot of money in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that I invested in. What am I going to do with all that success, and how am I going to deploy it into a physical asset to give me diversification after I've made concentrated wealth? So again, if you have a retirement account, move it over. If you're younger and can't afford a house, buy a house with islandproject.com today immediately, and then later on take profits, take half the investment and buy your house while you've been waiting and your money's been working for you. See, if you're renting, you're not making any money. And now with affordability eclipsing levels that we've never seen before, and that's what they want, that's their goal. They don't want you to own a house. That's what you need to understand. They don't want you to be wealthy. I do. They don't want you to be rich. I do. They don't want you to own a home. I do. And not only that, we've bought the best homes, and we've done it in Robin Hood fashion as the good guys who really care about you, care about your success, care about the beauty of life. I also want you all to live a good life, live the best life in glory for the King Jesus Christ. God bless. Got to step into the Lambo. I'm out. Links below. Take action now. I'll be very interested to see what happens tomorrow in the U.S. stock market. Again, stocks, their worst performance since September 2022. I'm also expecting Tesla to go much, much lower in its dead cat bounce to zero. And I believe it will threaten bankruptcy proceedings for Elon Musk and his host of companies. That's the truth. That's the truth. God bless. The general's proven right over and over again over a long enough time horizon. And then people, they wonder, they say, how did you know, Christopher? How did you know stocks were going to collapse long in advance? How did you know Taiwan was going to be invaded long in advance? How did you know Russia was going to invade Ukraine and that would result in World War III? How did you know there was going to be a war in Israel, Christopher? How did you know Bitcoin was going to soar, to trillions and trillions of dollars? Because I'm early. And we're early with this, along with all of you. Make your move. Believe in yourself today. 1000x your life, your money. Do it now. And onboard. Join our amazing community and ecosystem of like minds, Christian, ballers, those of other faiths, believers in God that are doing incredible things and offering solutions in a time when the media offers zero solutions. CNN offers zero solutions. Fox News, zero. Nothing. Many of the media figures you follow, they'll tell you about hyperinflation. They won't give you an investment like I do. They won't give you the gold Rolex or the Lamborghini of real estate. No, they have zero options. They just tell you tune in so they can make more advertising money. See, I've dedicated my life, my own personal investments to support you so you can be the ballers, so you can have and experience what I've experienced by never giving up on yourself, by investing in yourself, tokenizing the asset, which we're all doing together, and becoming a part of a world-class ecosystem and community that is so beautiful, and it's made of such great people that it's such an honor to serve on a daily basis. Links below. I am General Greene, and this is my message today, islandproject.com. Make sure you onboard now and call my dad if you need any help. You can simply fund immediately at islandproject.com. Members tab now.